This will be the most tough and most competitive quiz, if I may say. So if you are ready, let's dive in it. Welcome to No Big Deal Academic Tech Quiz with Rahim. Are you ready to challenge your tech knowledge and your smartness? This quiz is designed to test your skills in software engineering, artificial intelligence, and general computing, and you have just 5 minutes to prove it. Let's make this fun, fast, and little competitive. Here is the twist. You will have 5 minutes to answer each question. The faster and more accurate you are, the better your score will be. Are you an advanced learner or basic learner? Find out now by testing your IQ. You shall be assessed on the correct answer in the time range specified. You are a basic learner if you are able to answer 0 to 2 correctly, or intermediate learner if you are able to answer 3 to 4 correct questions, and advanced learner will be able to answer 5 correct questions. Get ready to test your knowledge in software engineering, artificial intelligence, and general computing. Each question has 1 minute timer, so think quickly and show off your skills. This is for artificial intelligence students and dedicated learners. Okay, look at the question very well. Start thinking. Look at the question before I read it for you, because immediately I start reading, everything will be deleting from the screen, so that you don't have access to start looking for a way of searching for it. I want you to use your IQ on this question. Look at the question very well and start answering it. Then now I'm starting the question 1. Question 1 says, what is artificial intelligence, AI? And what are some of its applications? A type of physical robot used in factory. B, human intelligence used in computers. C, the ability of machine to mimic human intelligence with application like speech recognition, self-driving cars, and medical diagnosis. D, a programming language for developing app. So you have gotten the number 1 question now. Think about it, answer it, let us know. If you are answering any question, you can type your name, then the course you are taking, then you forward your answer. Hope you have gotten the first question. Okay, now I want to proceed to the second question. Start thinking about this question. It's talking about neural network. Look at it on the screen. Start thinking before I start the question. Okay, I hope you are ready. Okay, let's get started. Question 2 says, what are neural networks in the context of AI? A, networks of human brain connected to a computer. B, a group of connected smartphones. C, a computing system inspired by the human brain to process data and makes prediction. D, a way to connect websites. Now you have gotten 2 questions now. I hope you are brainstorming. So when we move to third question now, you have seen how we are going to be doing this kind of question. Okay, the third one, look at it on the screen. Brainstorm. How will you answer this kind of question? Start thinking about it. You have only 1 minute to do it. Okay, I want to read out the question. Hope you are ready. Okay, Question 3. What is supervised learning in machine learning? A. Learning without any data. B. A learning method using labeled data to train model. C. Learning by copying human behavior. D. Machine learning without human help. Okay, number 3 is gone. Expecting your answer. Start sending your answer. Send with your name and your course. Okay, question 4. Start looking at the question 4. Question 4 is talking about neutral language also. So I'm going to read the question for us now. I believe you know what you are going to do on this one. Okay. Now, question 4 says, what is natural language processing NLP in AI? A way to grow natural plants using AI. B. Teaching machine to play natural sound. C. A field of AI that helps machine understand, interpret, and generate human language. D. A natural way of coding AI. So you have gotten the question. That's number 4 question. Think about it. Let's reason together. Okay, question 5 is on the screen. Look at it very well. Brainstorm. Then you start sending your question, start sending your answer. So I'm reading to us now. Question 5. What is deep learning and how is it different from regular machine learning? A. Deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses many layers of neural networks for high accuracy and performance. B. Deep learning is a method of cooking using AI. C. Deep learning is a basic way of coding in AI. D. Deep learning is unrelated to machine learning. So, brainstorm. Tell me your own answer. You have 5 minutes to answer all those questions. We have question 1 to 5. Each question is 1 minute. I want to believe that you have gotten all the questions. Still giving you some time to start dropping your answer. Okay. Why proceeding with your answer, let me round up the quiz. After your own answer, I'm going to provide the corrections after our lecture today. Next is AI Practical 4 on TKINTER GUI. This GUI is what we'll be using to develop app. We may not finish it today, but we can have some steps together. Then we continue next week. Hope you enjoy yourself with this little quiz. Next is Practical 4. Today we may not be able to finish up our lecture 4, and I want to congratulate you again for joining No Big Deal Academy. We are going to round up lecture 4 next time. So I'm going to do an introductory class today. Then if likely, I will just take 2 or 3 steps of what we want to do. So lecture 4 today, we want to be talking about introduction to TKINTER GUI. So what we are going to do today is Kinter GUI. Kinter GUI. I hope we know what we mean by GUI. That is a graphics user interface. So by the end of this lecture, you will be able to build simple apps with window and button using Kinter GUI. You shall also get familiar with the features of Kinter, label, entry, buttons, functions, string, join. Kinter that is Kinter that allows you to create windows and button in Python. Then when you talk about label, it helps you to display text on the screen. Then when you talk about entry, it helps you to collect input from the users. And when you talk about button, that helps you to run code when a button is clicked. Then when you talk about string join, that is also help you to continue text and user input. So those are the things we'll be making use of in this course of application. Kinter is a Python built-in GUI library. Last lecture, that is a lecture 4, we talk about built-in modules and libraries. We talk about the 3 types of modules. So we are building on all those things we have learned. So Kinter is a Python built-in GUI library. This allows you to build a graphic interface like windows and buttons. You can interact with it. It also allows you to know how real apps are made. Kinter is a module inside the Python standard library that comes with Python's built-in modules. A Kinter is the foundations for building login form. That is front end login form. We can create data entry system with a Kinter, quiz apps, student record managers, and so on. Today we are creating a simple GUI greeting apps. So we have started creating our apps today. All what we have been learning is just normal lecture, but today we want to gather everything. We want to start gathering everything together so that we can use it to learn how to create app. And the built-in modules we are using today is Kinter. As I told you, is a modules that can only take a user name through a text. So that's the app you are building. It will take user's name through a text. That is the problem we want to solve. And display a greeting like "Hello Rahim" when the user click a button. That is something that can take in input and display something. That is the app. We have steps to write a printer code. Many steps. So we can't finish it today, but we are going to start the steps now. Maybe if it is 5 steps, then we call it a day so that we can go and enjoy our weekend. Steps to write a printer code. We have about 17 steps to do this. So we are just going to start with either 10 or 5 till we get tired. So step 1 of it, I guess you know what we are going to do now. Since it's modules, the step 1 of it is to import the modules. So now, how do we import modules? We are starting again from where we stopped. So you write something like import. That's the first step. Oh, I've started already. Import printer. Import printer. That's the first thing. Then after you import Tinker, instead of us to be referring to Tinker, that is a long word. I want to represent it with one word, with something simple, so that whenever we want to call on Tinker to do something for us, we can quickly call on that small word I want to create now. So you create a small word as TK. So what I just did is that I import Tinker, and I'm telling my program that whenever I'm using TK, help me and refer it as Tinker. As we all know that Tinker is a built-in module in Python, we use it to create graphical windows. I've told you before. Then we are importing it and give it a short name, TK. So we can write something like tk.label, tk.button, etc. instead of writing twinkle.label, which is longer. Hope you got this line of code very well. Because this twinkle, it's having many functions inside it. And among the function is label and button. So if I want Twinkle to help me and bring buttons, I will just call on TK. TK dot something. TK. Hope you get this line of code. Thank you. Then step 2, we are going to create a window here. That is our main window. Since we have gotten the library or the modules that we want to use this module now to create window. How do we create window? So our main window now, if we want to create it, we are going to call on the TK. Then we can create, let me just give you an instance. We all know that anytime we want to do something in Python, we normally create a variable so that whatever we are doing, we are saving it. Since we are creating a window, our main window now, we have to save the function inside that window so that it will help us to hold it. Let me write the code for us so that you see it. It is called, we want to save it inside this window. This is variable. Now we have created a variable. Then what we are going to do here is that we call on the TK, which is the printer. Then we use it to create our main window. There's something called, this is the variable, this is the name we are calling on, and there's something called this thing, TK function. So this tk.tk function is a class that starts the GUI window. So whenever you want to start your window, you use this TK function. We call on our thinker to use TK function. Then the window that we use, that's the name of the window. We can use it to set the title. We can use it to set the size and add items. Hope you are following it. Then steps 3, I don't want to take you too long, but if you can still reach 10 steps, no wahala. The third step that we want to do, since we have gotten our window now, is to give it a title. Let's give it a title. So now, how do we give a title? So the title is inside our window. So we'll call on our window, help us with the title. So we want to make use of title. Then what is the title name? What is the title that we want to give to our app? So you can just create any name that you like, but it's better you call it greeting app, or you call it simple greeting app. Let's call it simple greeting app. Let me use initial letter. So now this code sets the title, that is the name you see at the top of the window. Simple greeting app will be shown at the top bar of the window. Hope you are getting it. Now we have created our window. We have created title. What next? We need to set size. We need to set the size of your window. How do we set size? We still need to be calling our window again. That window, I'm doing something on you. I want to set size on you. There's something we call geometry. That is what we use in setting size. So I'll use window. I will call on my geometry. Window.geometry. So now I've called my geometry function. Now I need to pass the size I want to use as the parameter. So I will pass the size. So the normal size we normally give is 350. You put it in quotes. 350 by 200. So this is the size that we have given. This sets the size of the window. It set it for us. The 350 by 200 means that 350 pixel wide and 200 pixel tall. So if you want it more than that, you can put. So we can still move on now. Step 5. Step 5 is creating our label. This creates a label, a text message in the window. It is placed inside the window also, and the message said enter your name. So that's what you see. Because if you not see something like enter your name, you will not even bother to even know what the app is trying to tell you. So we need to create a label that will be displaying on the window, in the body of the window, that you should what? Enter your name. So how do we create a label? Since it's label we are creating now, we have to like save whatever that we are doing inside label. So we call on the label as our variable. Then we declare it as variable. Then we now call our twinkle. That is TK. I want to use label. Twinkle, I want to use label. Then, where are you using that label? I'm using it on the window. Now, what is the text of that label that you are creating? The text of my label is enter your name. So this thing now will be displayed inside my label and to be enter your name. So hope you are getting it. Should I stop here as we continue? Okay. When we reach 10, we'll stop for today. So step 6, what do you need next to do? So after we have created a label, we need to what? Place the label into the window. We need to place it there so that everybody can see it. So what do we use in placing that label? There's something we called pack function. Pack function is inside a Twinkle that we can use to help us place the label. And then we are going to set the size of that label so that it will not be too big or too small. So how do we create a pack? So you are going to call on the label because the pack is inside label. Now say label, the label that I have created, then help me use pack to place my label. So this is the pack function. Now we are going to, there's something called padding. So we are going to make use of it now. But in Python, we don't call it padding here, we call it paddy. So what is the size you want to give when you are saying paddy? What is the size? I will give 10. So the paddy is 10. So this paddy now allows us to have space around it vertically in order to make it look better so that it will not be too tiny. Then step 7, we have to create the entry field. We need to create the entry field. That is a box where you can type something. It is also inside our window. So this is how we create an entry field. Let's have a variable for that also, so that it will be holding our entry field underscore. Let's say name entry. We'll call on the TK. That's our Twinkle. Then we said we need something called entry so that we can use it to enter on our window. Yeah, we are fine. Name underscore entry. Okay. I think we are good. The next one we are going to do now, which is the code 8. Code 8. This time around, we need something called entry box. We have created entry feed. We want to create entry box. so that it will be surrounding the entry feed. So how do we create entry box? This time around also, there's something called pack that I told you before. So we are going to use it again. Then we set the size of that pack. So to create entry box, we'll call on our new entry variable. So you say name entry, name underscore entry. We are using pack. Don't forget, we are using pack. My keyboard, oh, my P. What is wrong with my keys? Okay, let me try if I can. Let me make use of this one. Entry dot pack. Now we want to give a margin between. That is padding. You say paddy. Then you give a size. You should give 5 here and 10. Anyhow, let's give a 5. What we have done now is that is the box on the window that having some vertical space surrounding your field. That is what we have done now. So let's move on to the next one, which is we need now, this is where our function will come in. That is what we want to do. We need to create a function for it. So how do we create a function? We all know that we use def. So you use def. You create, what is the main function of this? It's not to greet. It's to greet. Then you create greet. What are you greeting? You are greeting a user. Anybody that enter something, then you greet. So we have created our own function. We don't need to pass anything here first. In further, maybe we'll be needing to add some variables, but for now, we don't need that. So we have created a function. So what we have done now, this is what we needed to run later when we click any button. So when you click any button, this is what will happen. This function will now do the work of greeting. Anything that we put inside the function now, that is what we do. So now what we want to put under this function now is that we want to write under the function that whenever they click the block, this function help us to go and fetch the input that the person writes inside the text box. So how do we do that? We use what we call get function. It will help us to go and fetch whatever we put in our input. So what we will do, we create a variable also, call it equal to name. We call on our entry. That's the entry that we create, because we are referring to that entry that, and never anybody that enter that entry help us to get the value that the person puts. So this get functions, it fetches the input from the user. So this is where we are going to stop for today. If you know about this, you can go and practice on it. Then next class, we can complete it. So I wish you all the best. So I wish you all the best. Then before we go, let me just quickly go back to our quiz that we just did, so that we do the quiz together again. Then I will answer the question so that you know your fate. The first question said, what is artificial intelligence and what are some of its applications? The correct answer here is C. Is the ability of a machine. This question is among our first discussion. The ability of a machine to mimic human intelligence. And this application that we use is like a speech recognition, self-driving cars, and a medical diagnosis. Then the second question is that we asked that what are the neural networks in the context of AI? The correct answer also here is C. That's a computing system inspired by human brain to process data and make prediction. So the next question is saying that what is supervised learning in machine learning? Supervised learning, we talk about this more than even 1 week. We are on supervised learning. So the correct answer here is B. That is teaching machine to play natural sounds. A learning method using labeled data to train models. It's a learning method using data to train models. That is supervised. We train system to mimic. Question 4 is saying, what is a natural language processing? That is NLP in AI. The correct answer here is C. A field of AI that helps machine understand, interpret, and generate human language. A field of AI that helps machine understand, interpret, and generate human language. Then number 5 question is that what is deep learning? We say what is deep learning and how is it different from regular machine learning? The correct answer here is A. Deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses many layers of neural networks for high accuracy and performance. That is what neural network does. So all the best. We see you in the next class. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and you turn on your notification. Good luck. This will be the most tough and most competitive quiz, if I may say. So if you are ready, let's dive in it. Welcome to No Big Deal Academic Tech Quiz with Rahim. Are you ready to challenge your tech knowledge and your smartness? This quiz is designed to test your skills in software engineering, artificial intelligence, and general computing, and you have just 5 minutes to prove it. Let's make this fun, fast, and little competitive. Here is the twist. You will have 5 minutes to answer each question. The faster and more accurate you are, the better your score will be. Are you an